Hello everyone, my name is Richard Herzog. Thanks for joining me here on Herzography. Today I would like to go over what I consider my favorite ball head for many years, and it's the Really Right Stuff BH-55. The BH-55 I have just found to be outstanding quality and build construction. It has, of course, two notches for 90-degree portrait mode. It has, of course, a panning base, which I will refer to as the recomposing base, and it is laser engraved with marks every 2.5 degrees. The base diameter is a little over 2 inches, and the weight is just a little under 2 pounds. The knobs and the ball movement are just smooth as silk. And one of the best features of the BH-55 as well as the BH-40 is the tension control knob. The tension control knob in this one is a micrometer drag tension adjustment, and this is what I find to be invaluable for a ball head. I would not purchase a ball head without a tension control knob on the ball head. And you do need to set it specifically for each camera body and lens combination. So let me kind of show you how that works, because if you don't have tension control, you'll see that when you loosen the ball head, it is just going to flop right down. That's what they call the ball head flop. And that can be very dangerous, and you just don't want to have that happen. So let me go ahead and I'm going to put this back in the lock position, but as I mentioned, this one has the tension control. So I am going to put my camera on here, and the first thing I do is I always hang on to the camera, because you can see if I wasn't, this would flop down and could possibly damage something inside the camera. So then what I do is I start to increase the tension on that little tension control until I feel it has just enough tension on it that I can still move the camera around to reposition where I want it, and then I will go ahead and lock it. So I'm going to now unlock, reposition where I want it, and then I'm going to lock it again. So that way I don't have any problems or issues with getting into any kind of camera flop. Now, if you're shooting panoramas, that brings up a whole lot of information on what to use when you're shooting panoramas, because there's a lot of different heads out there, and you've probably seen me talk about some other ones. I've done some spectacular panos with a ball head. It is definitely possible. But as I mentioned, the base on all ball heads should only be used for repositioning, not for shooting panos. Can you do it? Sure. Will your panos turn out perfect so they're easy to stitch together and you won't wind up with any artifacts? Maybe, maybe not. And quite frankly, when I go somewhere, I want to make sure that whatever I'm shooting, I'm not going to have any trouble stitching together afterwards, because I might not be able to get back to that location for a while, for a lifetime. So I want to do it right the first time. And the way to do it right when you're doing a pano with a ball head is to use a panning clamp. Now, there are many different manufacturers of panning clamps. If you're using or you want to purchase the BH-55 one way or the other, you can purchase the panning clamp separately and attach it to the top of the BH-55, or you can buy their panning clamp separately and put it on any ball head. But this definitely has the advantage of being able to level just the top above the ball and keep this 100% perfectly level as you're shooting your pano. And if you're using the repositioning base, as you're turning, there's a good chance that your images are just going to have a wave to them, and your software is going to have a much harder time stitching those together. So my personal preference has always been to use the panning clamp, and I have found it to be invaluable when shooting panoramas. Now, in the discussion of shooting panos, whether it's a ball head or some other kind of head, you will need to use a noto rail, and I will have another video on all the step-by-step instructions on how to use a noto rail.